Life got you down? Don't have enough energy to get through the day? Can't imagine another second without the taste of 17 different fruits and artificial coloring being drained down your gullet? Then take a Nuka Break and zap your thirst with America's favorite beverage. First hitting the market in 2044, John Caleb Bradburton's Miracle Soda spent 2 years in development before finally being revealed to the public, with all 17 of its fruit extract flavors and its 120% of the daily recommended amount of sugar stunning the nation. Within a year, Nuka-Cola had become America's favorite beverage, with a vending machine on almost every street corner in the nation. Quickly capitalizing on the drink's popularity, the Nuka-Cola Corporation began buying out competitor sodas and rebranding them as variants of Nuka-Cola, such as Merle's Very Cherry Soda, which became Nuka Cherry, or Grape Pearl Soda, which became Nuka Grape. Dominating the East Coast with their fruit flavors, Nuka-Cola began to produce drinks in an attempt to appeal to the West Coast market. After attempting and failing to acquire the Southwest's most popular soft drink, Sunset Sarsaparilla, Nuka-Cola Wild premiered, giving the brand its own root beer. Along with Nuka-Cola Quartz and Nuka-Cola Victory, which was developed in celebration of the liberation of Alaska in January of 2077, the West Coast had its own selection of flavors to choose from. Even smaller markets, such as rural Appalachia, would receive their own unique flavors, with West Virginia's Kanawha Nuka-Cola plant developing Nuka-Cola Cranberry, using locally sourced berries. For the adults, Nuka-Cola began offering the Nuka Dark Rum, which contained a modest 35% alcohol by volume, for those who really like to relax. Continuing to capitalize on the brand's exponentially growing popularity, Nuka World, a theme park based entirely around the soda, would open on May 1st, 2050, which is my 47th birthday. Opening with the lands of Nukatown, USA and Kitty Kingdom, 3 additional lands in the forms of Dry Rock Gulch, Safari Adventure, and Galactic Zone would all become operational in the following decades. As the park continued to grow, the company town of Bradburton, Massachusetts would be open just outside of Safari Adventure, allowing for employees of the park to shorten their commute by simply living at it. Despite being forced to change their bottle shape due to a lawsuit from a smaller company, forcing Nuka to adopt the now iconic rocket bottle shape, the Nuka-Cola Corporation would continue to attempt to acquire various smaller drink brands and integrate them into themselves. In 2077, Vim Pop, created and owned by the Reed family of Maine, would become Nuka's next target. After refusing to be bought outright, Vim would be harassed with lawsuits over similarly named drinks. One of their senior employees would become an informant for Nuka-Cola and would help sabotage the company from inside, and even attack Vim delivery trucks in order to lower company morale and confidence of investors. As his net worth continued to grow, Bradburton became increasingly concerned with his own mortality, and began using his immense fortune and influence to find any way to extend his life. An opportunity finally came when Nuka-Cola was approached by General Braxton of the U.S. Army Research Laboratory, who wished to use Nuka's Beverageer division of chemists for more than just creating soda. In exchange for the Beverageer's help in developing new weapons for the war effort, Bradburton would be granted access to the LEAP-X program, allowing the CEO to indefinitely extend his life by freezing his head, kept alive in a specially built vault under his office in Nuka World. The Weapons Project, codenamed Project Cobalt, was led by Beverageer Rex Meacham, who quickly placed the entire Beverageer team on the project, regardless of the morale dip this caused. Despite many of the chemists not wanting to work on the project, Cobalt was a success, developing an isotope codenamed Quantum, based off of strontium-90. Using Quantum, A slew of new weapons would be developed, including quantum mini-nukes, quantum-powered grenades, a weaponized squirt gun, and even a quantum-coated suit of experimental, next-gen power armor. Being soda scientists, the beverageers saw the obvious opportunity that quantum presented and developed a brand new flavor out of this nuclear isotope, Nuka-Cola Quantum. Given an enchanting blue glow by its radioactive ingredients, Quantum was a mostly safe special alternative to the regular soda with twice the calories, twice the carbs, twice the caffeine, and, allegedly, twice the taste. All you have to give up to try it is accepting that your urine glows now, and the possibility of addiction. Quantum was initially planned for a limited release, only manufactured at the bottling plant in Arlington, Virginia, and only released in limited quantities in DC, Boston, and at the White Spring Resort in West Virginia. Before Quantum could see a proper release, however, nuclear devastation would come to the United States on October 23, 2077. Nuka World would be thrown into chaos as employees and guests attempted to either evacuate or take advantage of the situation. Eco-terrorists seized the opportunity to attack Safari Adventure and try to free the zoo animals kept there. Deep under the world of refreshment, Meekum forced his team to continue working on Cobalt at the threat of death, a threat he wasn't afraid of making good on. Despite it being a symbol of America's pre-war decadence, Nuka-Cola has maintained its notoriety throughout the wasteland. Famously, Nuka-Cola bottle caps have become the most widely adopted currency across the wasteland. Adopted first in the West Coast city of the Hub by the water merchants, bottle caps were portable, durable, and most places capable of manufacturing them were destroyed during the war, making them scarce and thus their value stable. Being backed by the water merchants only solidified it as the new currency of America, replacing the dollar. The East Coast had a similar adoptage of caps in the White Spring Resort in Appalachia, where a pre-war promotion allowed people to exchange caps for a levy of things in the hotel's stores, including survival supplies after the war. Over the next 200 years, caps spread across the entire nation, from the Boneyard to Far Harbor. Even the new California Republic, which had previously minted its own currency, began using caps once again after their gold reserves were destroyed by the Brotherhood of Steel. Even besides caps, Nuka-Cola has remained in the forefront of Wastelanders' minds. Soon after the war, surviving employees of Nuka World would begin traveling across the country as a sort of traveling carnival to help uplift the spirits of those surviving in the wasteland. In Appalachia, in order to create an inoculation against the scorched plague, the dwellers of Vault 76 would use the Kanawha bottling plant in order to create Nuka-Cola Vaccinated, Nuka-Cola Scorched, Nuka-Cola My Blood's in It, as a quick and easy way to deliver vaccinated antibodies to the masses of people returning to the region. In Girdershade, outside the capital wasteland, Nuka-Cola fanatic Sierra Petrovita hosts what is possibly the world's only remaining Nuka-Cola museum, where she serenades her visitors with her constant blabbering about soda. Like what I just did.